Well, hello, and welcome back to the Chamber Vibes podcast. I'm your host, Foster Garrett, Director of Marketing and Events for the Bedford Area Chamber of Commerce. If this is your first time listening to the podcast, welcome. Let me just give you a rundown of what's going on. So every week I interview a different chamber member to find out what they do and why they do it, recorded right here in beautiful Bedford, Virginia, broadcasting on Grove Street FM, and brought to you by Media Squatch. But before we get to the actual podcast, I do want to tell you about some of our upcoming chamber events. October's been a busy month for us, and we have 2 back-to-back events this week, one of which is tonight, and the other one is tomorrow. So if you live, work, or do business in the town of Bedford, I highly recommend coming out to the Bedford Forum tonight, which will be held from 5:30 to 7 p.m. at Liberty Middle School. This is not a debate, but rather a civil informational session for the benefit of voters in the town and county of Bedford. Last year, we had so many people running for Board of Supervisors, Town Council, and different state offices that we had something like 23 people on the stage at one point. So it was a lot of stuff going on, and it was excellent. Tim Saunders always moderates all of our events, and we have great Q&As. However, this year, it's kind of the opposite. We only have 4 town council seats, and there are 4 balloted candidates. We are going to still have the Q&A beginning around 6 o'clock, but we will also have informal meet and greet time when the doors open at 5 until we start getting everybody settled around 6. So if you'd like to come out and meet the candidates, ask them a question one-on-one, because we don't take questions for the official Q&A at the forum. We take them prior and then we moderate it. So if you'd like to go up and meet them, shake their hands, thank them for running, thank the people that already serve us. I'm sure there'll be a lot of officials and other people there that do great work for our community that'll be milling around. So it's a great way to network if you're a business person or if you're a community person and just want to come out and meet the people that represent you and work very hard for you. That's a great way to do it. You'll also get to hear from Mary Zirkle, who's the Director of Planning and Community Development for the town of Bedford, because they are working on the 2045 comprehensive plan. What do you want Bedford to look like by 2045? This is your chance to learn about this process and to also provide your feedback. There is a survey online, so if you're interested, go fill it out. Tomorrow, if you are a professional, if you are somebody who lives or works in Bedford, this is really open to anybody. You could come all the way out from Roanoke or Lynchburg, and you would have a great time because we're going back to Magnolia Mountain Realty for a Live at 5. That's our evening networking series, and this is actually the last one of 2024. Hope Metzger, who's the principal broker and owner of Magnolia Mountain Realty, she does an excellent job of hosting us every year. We always have an overflowing cooler, plates filled with food, giveaways, and we always leave with some great new connections and new leads. So if it was your goal in 2024 to grow your circle, this is a great way to do it. And like I said, it's your last evening after hours chance for this year. So come on out. You don't have to be a chamber member to attend. We always say, come on out, bring a friend. There's no RSVP. There's no cost. Just come out and enjoy yourself. So that's October 24th from 5 to 6 p.m. at Magnolia Mountain Realty on Longwood Avenue in Bedford. And the last thing I'll mention is we do have a Lunch and Learn coming up on November 6th with our friends with Fortress Foundation Solutions. This is also a free event, and you don't have to be a chamber member to attend. Come learn about what they do and how you can maintain and keep an eye out on the structural safety of your office, home, or property, and enjoy some free lunch while you're at it. We'll also have a great giveaway prize from Jersey Mike's Sub. So go online, check out all of our events on our calendar at bedfordareachamber.com. And if you have any questions, I'll drop our phone number at the very end of the podcast, so make sure to listen all the way through. But without further ado, please allow me to introduce today's guests, Bill Moss and Micah with Foster Fuels.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, Foster.
Good morning, Bill. I laugh because Bill is a longtime board member. He was actually the very first non-staff member that I met through the chamber. And I think I've said this before, but you really did make me feel instantly at home because you started bringing me stuff. I have so much Foster Fuels merch. It's hilarious. I have like 4 of the same pink hat. And I'll wear them, and people come up to me and they'll be like, "Are you just wearing a hat with your name on it?" I'm like, "Yeah." Yeah. Just like that.
That's so great.
I know.
Well, it's just so appropriate, Foster Garrett. Well, Foster Fuels, why not? It flows very nicely.
It does, and
does.
I appreciate it. Well, before we kind of get into the Q&A, can you guys just tell us a little about who you are, your backgrounds, and a little bit about how you became involved with Foster Fuels? And then there's so much history of Foster Fuels, so I'll kind of once you guys introduce yourselves, I'll let Bill take that away.
You take that away?
Yeah.
Well, Foster Fuels got started in 1921. And as I've told you, Foster, I was like the second employee there in 1921. So I've been here for a little while, right?
Just a little while.
I had fun with that. But it truly, I didn't start with them back then, I don't think. I did start, my career initially was aviation. I was a pilot for the airlines for many years. And while I was flying, I did some 1099 work for Foster Fuels. We connected up one time. I just really liked the company, the people, what it's all about there. And so I did that. But then we kind of gravitated on and off a little bit as I was flying. But when I decided to leave the airline business, then we said, God sat down with Foster Fuels and said, what about a full-time thing? So we started full-time, 14 years ago or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And really enjoy that. So that's a little bit about my background real fast with where I was and where I am. And so, we'll go from there.
And what is your role with Foster Fuels?
My role now is I really enjoy the commercial side of things. And so my primary role is manager of commercial operations for propane.
Gotcha.
And with that, not really operations, let's just say sales, because I'm not a real operations person. I'm a salesperson, right? And I really enjoy that, interjecting with the customers and getting out there in the field. I don't like to sit around at a desk. It's just not me.
Really?
You know that. And so, just leaving here this morning and heading up to the mountains near Crabtree Falls, where we have a really cool installation going on today at a lodge where we did glamping tents up there last year. You remember that?
Yes.
That's really cool up there. So we've got a lot of neat things. So I'll be on the go here shortly after this podcast. But yeah, commercial propane sales, I still dabble around with, gasoline, diesel, and other things that we do, because way back then it was one thing. I did it all. So because we didn't have all the different divisions that we have now that we can use now to serve our customers even better.
That is really cool. And how about you, Micah? Are you newer to the team?
I am. Yeah,
Nice.
I am newer. I've only been at Foster Fuels now for just about 2 months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So
You're super new.
still getting my feet wet to an extent. Yes, I am. And Bill, I didn't know you were a pilot.
Yeah.
Isn't that cool?
You learn
That is
something
cool.
new all the time, don't you?
Yeah. That's awesome. Yeah. So I'm newer to the company. I'm the Propane Marketing Manager. So I'm taking care of growing out our propane division, especially the residential side of things, working to enhance our campaigns, get our messaging out there, get our brand out there, making sure that people know who Foster Fuels is, why we're the best choice for propane for the home. Yeah, so that's what I do, but a little bit more about me. I am a younger professional, so I don't have quite the resume that our friend Bill here does, but I have worked in a few different industries. I most recently, before this, was working in marketing for the roofing industry, working for a supplier, one of the larger ones in the country, a pretty big company. Really enjoyed what I did for them and decided that the one thing about that job that probably wasn't for me was the business to business side of things. I really like working with people, with the individual, targeting things, because I'm a person. So I know what people like.
Absolutely.
I know what people respond to, and I'm not a business, so it's a little bit harder to know what a business thinks like and responds to. So I really like what I do. I really like working with the team that we have over at Foster Fuels in the marketing department. It's about 6 of us right now, headed up by the illustrious Olivia. She's wonderful.
I know. That was the first thing I asked when Bill said your title to me yesterday. I was like,
Yeah,
did you guys lose Olivia? And he's like, oh, no, she got a promotion.
she got a promotion.
Yeah, that's
She
awesome.
sure did. Yep. It's a great time. It's a really great department. We've got some talented individuals, graphics, video, social media coordination, everything. So really grateful for the team that we have. And I'm happy to be here. Yeah.
Good. Well, I'm excited. Bill, you want to say something?
Can I brag on that team?
Yeah, you can
Marketing
brag
team.
some
They're
more.
so awesome. I mean, you see, they pick out the swag that we brought to Woody today, and then you see the brochures I have in here today. That they create all these brochures. They work with us, and we help them with things in the field. Create the brochures, get them ready. We do everything but print them, and some we do print. And some of these large signs for trucks and everything else we print in house. And so they do so much to help us and support us. You know, you can do pretty good, but if you don't have a good back office support to help you, it makes it tough. And when you can do it in house, it just makes it so much easier, and you can make things work that from people that understand what you're doing versus going outside.
Absolutely.
You know, and so when Micah mentioned best choice, it's no doubt that is a best choice to work with people that understand people. And I wanted to mention something about that. He made that statement. You've heard me say this 1,000 times at chamber things. You know, the chamber's 85 years old, and I've been a part of there since the day for one, too, you know. So, but people do business with people, not buildings.
Yes.
You know, so that's what it's all about here at Foster Fuels, the culture and everything else. Because if you'll notice on my business card, and to all of the customers, the commercial customers, they're getting my cell phone number too. It's not they're just going to call a building and talk to somebody that's going to switch them off to across the seas to a you know, person that's talking there from another country, like some of our competitors. But anyway, you're talking to a person, and most likely they're going to be very close to you. But for example, if you call into your local office, because we have offices, you know, all over Livingston, up north for the Charlottesville market and other things, and Danville and Forest and Huddleston and Lynchburg, Rustburg, Brookneal, we have all these offices. You might call that specific office, but if somebody doesn't answer that phone in a couple of rings, it automatically transfers to another where person is going to answer that phone. Right. And so we don't use a voicemail type situation. Even 24/7 at night, middle of the night, you call, you're not going to talk to me, but you're going to talk to a person, which is going to get with the person that's on call, and that person is going to call you. So, you know, we're there for the customer.
And I'm going to put a peg in both of you because now I want to brag on Foster Fuels just a little bit.
Please.
But we, everybody that I've met from Foster Fuels is so nice. Like, just genuinely authentic, good people. And I've met a lot of you at this point. And each of you take the time to not only learn my name, which is pretty easy, but also I get to know everybody's names. There's a lot of professionals I meet, and I meet them in passing, and, you know, I can remember their face and where they work and everything you told me, but their name escapes me. That's not the case with anybody with Foster Fuels. And Bill will, if Bill's not able to make something, he will send somebody else. And even if it's poor Hunter or Chris or somebody that is just going to be Bill's wingman, they're still just the nicest guys ever. And even if they're stepping in, and you guys treat everybody, your customers, everyone, with the utmost respect and care. So I really do want to applaud you for that. And then on the marketing side of things, like, you guys run that thing like it's the Marines. It is amazing. It's so good. We've been working on accreditation from the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, and there's a lot of different standards and things that we have to do. And one of them is a complete written out style guide and a separate marketing communications plan. And you probably aren't aware, but it's just me and my boss working there. So we're a 2-person staff for something that we do a lot of stuff, and we're often stretched thin at times, but we've been really, really blessed to have a great relationship with the school system. And we've gotten some really great, like, top of their class interns to help us. And so they're learning about lots of different things. They're really interested in design and communications and marketing, but they've never been able to work in any of these fields.
Right.
So this is them really dipping their toe in. And so we've been working on the style guide with them, and we've pulled up all these different businesses and organizations and accounts and things. And the ones that we keep returning to, one of them is Foster Fuels,
Mm-hmm.
because you guys you do such a great job. You have a great mix of marketing, media, different topics, and it's all cohesive. It all looks great, and it tells your organizational story really wonderfully. So kudos
Thank you.
to you and your team.
Thank you. Yeah,
No problem. But
absolutely. It's a team effort.
yeah,
It really is. We all work together and make it happen.
yeah, and it's awesome that you guys have such a great and growing team.
Mm-hmm.
Woody and I had a marketing workshop, I think, was it this month? It was last month. Oh my gosh, time is flying. It was last month, and it was kind of like a marketing 101 for people that maybe have never really market actively, or really, they don't have like a budget for marketing. They don't have a person for marketing.
Right.
A lot of them were nonprofits in our chamber that
Mhm.
don't have like any type of dollars for that. They don't even have really any time to devote to it, but they wanted to expand their knowledge. And I mean, this is what we do. So we were talking to them about different things, and it was just really amazing how people were kind of sharing their own organizational stories together and then building on it and growing it. And there were a lot of people in the room that knew what they were doing
Mhm.
and had a lot of things to share. And it was just amazing. I had a point, but I'm losing my train of thought. So I'm moving on for the marketing piece of this. Oh, I'm remembering it. If you're not telling your story, somebody else is.
That's right.
And I think there's a lot of different people that are frustrated with social media, or they're scared of it, or they think it's, negative. And I think there are a lot of negative aspects of social media. I think it's one of those things where
Yeah.
it's hard to control. And it grew so quickly, but it's essential to your business. And you don't really have a choice anymore, because like I said, if you're not telling your story, somebody else is. And you guys do a great job of
Yeah.
telling your story.
Thank you. It is storytelling. Marketing is all about telling a story.
It is.
You know, if you go to any old country store and you see a bunch of older folks sitting around, they're telling stories.
Yeah.
And it might not be a true story. It might be, that fish is 20 feet long, I call it, But the point is this: if you tell your story and you have a good story, and we're going to tell the truth about our story, right? You get people interested. I don't care if you're 2 years old, you love a good storybook. If you're 92 years old, you can tell a good story. And so that's what we like to do. We like to share the story about Foster Fuels because it's very positive and it's very good for customers. Speaking of the story, you say, Foster Fuels, well, what do you do? What are some of the stuff you do? I'll just name off a few. And then, like I say, I kind of went toward the propane division, even though I still deal with some of the other parts. You hear something called LP. That's liquid, propane, really. Now, propane, what is propane? You have natural gas you hear about in the big cities that go through pipelines. Propane is liquid that kind of boils into a gas to burn things like your fireplace, range that you might cook gas. All professional cooks, they cook on gas with
That's
gas,
right.
Because it's just so consistent, so
Yeah.
wonderful to cook with. Tankless water heaters. You think about that. Have you ever run out of hot water? You have 3 teenagers in front of you taking showers, right? And you go, I have no hot water left, But tankless water heaters, it's called endless hot water. So we install those as well, sell and install those. So you turn on the hot water faucet, and it's not instant, but it gets to you from that heater. And as long as you have gas and water, you have water. Your whole neighborhood could take a shower at your house and never run out of hot water. So that's another thing. We hook up a lot of whole house generators, use propane for those.
Yep.
And, in the emergencies that happen, that we're going to talk about that in a few minutes about emergencies. Mike is going to talk about that a little bit. You've got power, dryers. I don't think you'll ever go to a commercial laundromat that has electric dryers. Well, why? There's a reason for that. Gas is so much more efficient and dries your clothes so much more efficiently and quicker, faster. So a lot of different things that we use for propane, but we have gasoline, diesel, kerosene, DEF. What is that?
I don't know what that is.
Diesel exhaust fluid. And that's something that is used to inject into the, exhaust, let's say, of diesel trucks. You used to see all that smoke billow out of it. You don't see that. There's a reason for that. It makes things cleaner. So we sell that. HVO. What is HVO? Well, that's hydrogenated vegetable oil. That's something toward green initiative that we're doing. Okay. And if Micah wants to take off on that later, he can. That's fine. Jet fuel. We sell jet fuel. We polish fuel. What is that? Well, I call it diesel dialysis.
Mm-hmm.
So if you have diesel fuel that stays in a tank for a long time, it's slowly going to degrade. The quality is going to go downhill. So you have hospitals that have large 20,000 gallon diesel tanks for their generators, right? And if the power is all gone, like in North Carolina, Florida or something, these diesel generators cut in. But if the fuel's been sitting there for a long time, how do you know it's good?
Mm-hmm.
Well, when the chips get down, you need that generator to work at that hospital, right? So we are contracted throughout the whole country. We go around and we polish the fuel. I call it, like I said, diesel dialysis. So we have a big machine that you put lines down into that big tank. It brings it back through. It filters it out. It makes sure everything is good. They check the quality. You've heard of octane for gas. They check the cetane. Check all types of things we can check. We can do like a blood test on that diesel. We can send it off to a lab and say exactly what the deal is on it. So all kind of neat things that we can do to make sure when the chips are down, everything's going well from you. Anything from hospitals to data centers around the whole country, we do that, down to, small and farmers and other folks, to make sure that fuel is quality when you need it. We do, like I said, jet fuel, oil and lubricants for companies and machines. We even have big transports that deliver water if you need that. So a lot of different things. And I thought, since I kind of touched on it, maybe Micah could mention something about when the chips are down, what Foster Fuels does with emergency activations and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a huge part of our business. We call it the mission critical division. And it's because for, like Bill was talking about, hospitals, the mission is critical. You have to have power for the data centers. People don't think about data centers. Well, how are you getting anything from the internet to your phone? Well, you go to Google. It's not one computer out at Google in California. They have data centers in Virginia. They have data centers in Florida. They have data centers in California, New York. Almost every state's going to have some sort of data center to get this information to you. And it's not just your Instagram and your TikTok. It's critical back-end support for emergency services, for the hospitals. And so you have the hospitals need fuel, the data centers need fuel. They both need to work, or neither of them will work. And so we support those kinds of organizations. We have, when Hurricane Helene impacted Florida earlier this season, we sent many trucks. I don't have a specific concrete number, but it was a lot. We sent our folks down there and we supported those kinds of businesses. And then when Milton followed up not long after, we went again. And for a lot of our folks who were already down there, we said, hey, can you stay and can you help? And they were happy to. That's the kind of company that we run. And so we support what needs supporting, and we do it really well. And so I wish that I could tag off of Derek Smith, our mission critical marketing manager. He's obviously at work this morning, but he does a great job just making sure that these organizations that have important work to do, that they know that we are reliable, because we are, and we'll be there. We'll be there when we're needed. We are on time all the time.
Yeah, yes, Bill.
And just a tag on that, going back a little bit before your time, Micah, back in 2012, remember Sandy and Isaac, the big, massive snowstorms, things couldn't move. We were moving fuel, propane, big 9,500 gallons at a time. We were taking up that way so they could have fuel to run operations. So not only diesel, but propane as well, with those tremendous snowstorms. So that's back in 2012. And then we've done, from Matthew to Irma, Florence, Laura, Ida, all those big hurricanes we activate, even in Puerto Rico. I mean, we go wherever the need is.
Crazy.
Yeah, it really is. And so we do have a commitment to make sure that when people have that need, that we're there to help out.
Yeah.
And we still have some crews down in North Carolina and Florida right now. And so hopefully no more devastating storms heading in the direction. But if there are, we're going to make sure that we're there.
I think this is another great example of essential workers that you don't always think of as essential.
Right.
Like, my partner works for the Bedford Regional Water Authority, and she's on call very, very frequently, frequently. And you never really think about all the work that goes into just keeping your necessities.
Oh, right.
And for, for y'all contacting the mission critical guys and saying, hey, there's another storm coming, do you mind staying? I mean, that's weeks and weeks and weeks of staying in not only like a potentially dangerous environment to serve others, but also being away from your family, being months away. I mean, states away. That's crazy. And I really appreciate those people. I know that it makes all the difference to the people that have been impacted in Florida, North Carolina, Tennessee, wherever. I had the privilege to go to Help Can't Wait, which is our region's Red Cross's. It's a brunch that tells the story of the Red Cross and how important their mission is, and encouraging people to continue to support them in their efforts. And just the stories that people told of like how they've been impacted, whether their house burnt down or they saved a child's life because they were able to go to a training one time and then provide CPR because it's like riding a bike. But just being there for that and being in those disaster zones and having people come to help you, it's amazing. It really is. And I know the train's coming by, but just ignore it.
I love it. The train's like just very close to us.
It's extremely close to us.
I can feel it.
You can feel it?
I can physically feel the train.
Yeah.
It's like it's in the building.
Neat environment.
I hope it's not.
We even, if you want to put it that way, we even have crews that follow trains around the country.
Yeah.
That they clean the tracks and repair tracks.
What?
Well, all this equipment needs diesel fuel.
Yeah.
So we have trucks that do follow different trains, cleaning operations around the country to get fuel for them as well. So I'm glad the train came by. It made me think about that. That wasn't in my mind for this morning.
Well, there's just so much that you guys offer, and I think it's really incredible. Like you said, Foster Fuel started in 1921, and I mean, it's a family-owned business. It started small, and now you guys, like you said, there's just so much that you do and that you provide, not just at home, but across the country. So...
yeah, I call us a small, big company.
A small, big company.
Small, big company. I mean, so for our small trucks, you're looking at, we do the bergs and the vills, a lot of that. So the bergs, like a Lynchburg, Rustburg, some of the bergs all around. But the vills, you think about Farmville, Standardsville, Ruckersville, Danville, Charlottesville. So we're all that area with the vills and the bergs and everything. That's a standard kind of footprint for our small trucks. But with the large trucks and things we mentioned earlier, I mean, we all over the country.
Yeah.
So whatever we need, we do that. And so the small, big company is what I mean. We can do anything from a small propane tank to help grandma with a heater, which grandma likes to be warm. My wife likes to be warm too. She likes our fireplace, our propane fireplace. But from small to very large. So we have very large companies with multiple 30,000-gallon tanks that we take care of as well. So anything from small to large, we can take care of that.
And I think also when you're talking about small to large, like you guys, you're a huge company, and you are the Bedford Area Chamber of Commerce's large business of the year for 2024.
We sure are.
Yeah, which is amazing.
We're proud to be.
Good, as you should be. You guys have earned it. I feel like I'm just hyping you guys up right now, but you deserve it. So, but you guys not only, like, you're large, you're everywhere. I see you everywhere, but you take the time to really engage with our community and do great things at home. And I know that you guys are in the middle of your Spread the Warmth campaign right now.
We sure are.
So do you want to talk a little bit about that?
I would love to talk about that.
Awesome.
Yeah, so Spread the Warmth, it's our initiative that we do every year to stay involved in our community, to collect coats and distribute them to those in need. So, one of the most important things to us as a company is to give back to the community that allows us to supply their needs. And so we're not just a business. We've talked about it already this morning, but we're a collection of people who care about the people that we live near and that we work with. And so right now we're in our 2024 coat drive, and we are collecting especially kids coats.
Mhm.
We're collecting stuff for children at any number of our showrooms. They'll all collect coats for us. We have a list on our website at fosterfuels.com/spread the warmth. We have a list of the locations for drop off.
Perfect.
We have just dozens of them, but I couldn't list them all, but there's a lot. Last year, we were proud to be able to donate to 39 schools,
Oh, that's awesome.
29 or 24, separate charities as well. We also made financial and monetary donations to 39 schools as well. So it really matters to us that our community feels supported, that it is supported. Even just this week, we're coming up on the end of our collection for the Western North Carolina hurricane victims. We were sending coats, sleeping bags as well,
Nice.
out towards them. Our Foster Foundation was taking on that initiative. So it matters a lot to us that our community feels supported by the work that we do. We're not just a fuel company. We're also a really important member of the community, and we want to stay that way. We want everyone to know that we're reliable for more than just all of their fuel needs.
And it gives me a lot of satisfaction to be able to take those checks to the schools to help with whatever situation it may be that they need. But also I've been able to deliver from the foundation that Micah was talking about, backpacks. When school starts, we deliver backpacks to many, many, many schools in our area that we service. So some children the parents can't afford the basic needs that they have to start off with school with certain supplies and things. So it is such a joy not only to see the kids' faces, but see the principal and the teachers' faces to see that, hey, we've got something for students that they need. And many times delivering coats to them too, to just say, oh, that is so wonderful. Because, I know you've probably seen a child that should have a coat on at a bus stop that doesn't have one. And so that means a lot to us.
Yeah. And I think that's something that's kind of, people don't really think about it when it comes to coats, especially. I think like it's not really the first thing that people are thinking of donating. But I will say, you guys have been doing Spread the Warmth really well and for so long at this point that we will have people show up at the chamber and they know that Foster Fuels is a very active member with us, and they'll just give us like bags of coats and we always get them to Bill. But it cracks me up every time, because when I first started, I started in February of 2023, so last year, and we had a woman that walked in and she had like 3 trash bags full of coats that she had collected, and she walks in and my boss is like in her office and I just happen to be the only person that's like coming out, and she's like, hi, I'm here to drop these off for Spread the Warmth. And I'm like, what is that? I had no idea, but I was like, you can just leave them there. And it's just, but Kayla knew immediately. It happens all the time, but people know that you guys do this and they want to support you. And even if maybe they don't know exactly what to do, they've got the spirit. And they also know that you guys rock with us. So
yeah, last year we collected over 5,500 coats.
Really?
Yep.
That's amazing.
Yep. And we're hoping to beat that number this year.
Yeah.
Always.
Yep.
We collect them, we wash them, and then we get them back out to the community.
Nice.
And so it's just exciting to be a part of that. It really is.
Absolutely.
The give back. Like Micah said, we like to supply energy needs for the community, but we also like to give back to the community, that's all the communities that we serve.
And you guys are involved in so much. I've seen you go to CASA events, United Way events. I've seen the pictures of you guys dropping off things for Bedford Christian Ministries, and that's all like really small local stuff. I think you guys have your hands in pretty much everything. You're a big reason that a lot of nonprofits can do what they do in this region. And we talked about sharing your story at the beginning. You guys have a great story. Like, you do so much, and there's no lies here. Like, it's all just sharing the great things that you guys are doing. So I think always with companies like this, when I tell people, I've had a lot of friends that have graduated from college or graduated from high school or are on their way out and are looking for jobs. And I always tell them, like, if you can get a job with Foster Fuels, Centos, BWXT, I'm rolling off the names, but Foster Fuels is always top of the list because it's a great place to work.
It is a great place to work.
Are you guys hiring? What are you
Since
hiring
you
for?
brought that
Since
up.
I brought that up.
Since you brought that up. I mean, sales. We've got that because in sales, I don't consider myself sales. Just sales is sales. Um, I'm kind of marketing. It's just all types of things, community engagement. But people like that we need. Logistics, operations, accounting, billing, service technicians, customer service, shop mechanics. We have our own shop, work on our own trucks,
Oh, that's
things
cool.
like that. And of course, marketing. I don't think it's anything open there right now, but you never know.
No.
Just go to our website and information technology. We have IT, our own IT department on staff. So, Micah, you got anything to throw in on that with any of the opportunities and the website for employment? Or
Yeah, right now our team, at least in the marketing department, we've got a full team. I will say though, like Bill mentioned, just keep an eye on the website. I'll share this. I was working with my own business, my own small business, doing marketing for Lynchburg area companies for about a year, supporting myself that way. It was challenging until I found out about Foster Fuels, and I found them right on Indeed after applying to nearly 200 jobs over the 12 months. Foster Fuels took me in for an interview, and they were immediately different in how they handled the interview process. They made it very clear that, we don't want to waste your time, and we don't want to make you, a lot of companies tend to, when you're applying to jobs, and trust me, this job market's tough.
Mm-hmm.
They really like to lead you on, and so you'll get an interview, you'll get a personality test, you'll get a second interview, and then it'll be, you were perfect for the position. Sorry, not at this time.
Yep.
And that's a sad story, but it happens all the time. So keep an eye out on Foster Fuels. We hire good people. So if that describes you, consider applying when a job opens up.
I'm glad that you said that about the hiring practices, because that is it's such a huge challenge. It makes you feel so disillusioned and unempowered. And I was very similar. I'm so grateful to have found the chamber, but I feel like it was purely good luck on my part because, I graduated in 2022 and I just struggled so much to find a job, and I applied to 100 jobs in the span of 6 months, and I would throw out my resume, I would write a custom cover letter, I would follow up, and a lot of times people would just ghost me or they wouldn't respond. And it's so hard when you know that you've got it in you. You know that you've got the stuff. You can just get in front of somebody and talk to them and have a real conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And we host a job fair every spring. And I always tell people the job fair is my favorite event, which people are always kind of shocked by because, who likes a job fair? But I think it's such an underrated opportunity because you can really get in front of 50 different actively hiring businesses in your area. And you know that they care about their community because they're showing up. And you know that, by giving them your resume, you're watching them write notes down and stuff like that. And I think it just makes a world of difference because it really works. I would say that most of the people that walk in the door leave with at least one interview, and a lot of them end up employed at the companies that they talk to.
Yeah.
And it's such a loophole, but it's so hard nowadays. And I think not only having a great team, but having great practices all the way around, that's all the difference.
And you know what? Let me change my hats now.
Okay.
Back to the board of directors with the Bedford Area Chamber of Commerce.
Oh, gosh.
I've been on the board for a while and just been a part of the chamber, like you said earlier, for many, many years.
Mm-hmm.
Ambassador and whatever I have been with the chamber over the years. And you said something about the right stuff. You have got the right stuff, Foster, for the chamber. You do a great job. We really appreciate you too, what you're doing for the chamber, the community out here, the businesses that are a part of our Chamber of Commerce. You can actually see where you and Kayla care about them. And so that means a lot. And you're trying to focus your efforts on the business community in the Bedford area. And it's not called just the Bedford Chamber. It is the Bedford Area Chamber of Commerce. It's a large area that your footprint covers. And so with 2 employees, it's tough, but y'all do a fantastic job. I just want to let you know that.
Thank you. And we're able to really do what we do because we have great support. We have great people like you and Foster Fuels, because it is a little confusing because our members are the business or the organization,
Right.
not actually Bill Moss. But
Right.
but it's because we have organizational support and we have the individual support, people that really care about working together and advancing our community by helping each other. That's really what our chamber is all about. And it's awesome. I love it. I think like you said, we've come pretty far, and I'm looking forward to 2025. We're already working for next year.
Yeah, it's going to be really great. Just to change the subject slightly before we end things today, I'm not sure how much more you have, but I want to mention something. Micah, he was a great fit for Foster Fuels. We really appreciate you being here. But Mike and I really got our first introduction at a really cool deal.
Okay.
We met at an off-grid home
Yeah.
in the middle of nowhere. We did an off-grid home last year, supplying propane for them, and they are definitely off-grid.
Oh,
No
wow.
electricity going there. And we did a fun video. Well, y'all are working on the video now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, we sure are.
And not the train didn't come in the background, but the chickens were cackling in the background. So that was a lot of fun. So, with off-grid, a lot of people are looking toward things like that these days. And so we'll have that coming up that the marketing department is working on right now, that we went out there and filmed that, of actually you can live just fine with no electricity from the grid, but you can create your own and have things supplied, like we were talking about generators earlier, right?
Yeah.
Your own homestead. Anything you want to throw out about that with that feature coming up?
Yeah, sure. I think even myself, I was confused about how this worked for a while, but I'd always assumed that when you talk about propane appliances, what you mean is like maybe a stove or a range. And then you talk about a propane fridge, and I'm thinking, okay, well, you're using propane to power a generator to power a fridge. Well, it's a lot more than that. And so this homestead was using, like Bill mentioned earlier, one of those tankless water heaters for endless hot water, propane dryer, propane range, a stove, an oven, a propane refrigerator. A lot of appliances can be run directly off of propane. And he even had a big array of solar panels out there because, the fridge has a light bulb, right? And the dryer has a buzzer. And so for some of those smaller things, for his Wi-Fi too, you need a little bit of electricity for that. But he had a propane generator for when the sun didn't come out. And that was the case when we had shown up at his place. It had been raining. You probably remember this. It was raining for nearly 2 weeks straight in our area.
Yes.
And he said, yeah, he's got this huge solar panel array and it got nearly nothing. And so it was really inspiring to see that he was able to fully support himself off of what our company does. And I think that when that video comes out, we'll definitely be promoting it. And it can work for, maybe you don't want to live completely off grid. Maybe you want a hunting cabin that can keep you warm at night and keep your meat cold, if that's something that you're into. It's something my dad would probably be interested in.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So definitely looking forward to finishing that project up. It's gonna be exciting.
Oh, that's so cool. I feel like I've learned so much about Foster Fuels, and I felt like I was pretty already educated, but that is awesome. And is there anything else that you guys want to promote that's coming up, whether it be
winter?
Yeah.
That's
Your busy
our
season?
fun time.
Okay.
Yeah, we definitely. I mean, if fuel companies don't pump fuel, then it's not good. And so we kind of like chilly weather. We like cold weather because that's our season. And so we're geared up for that. We're glad to have some of the guys coming back from guys and gals coming back from Florida and North Carolina to be ready for the winter for us, because we do have our own fleet, our own dispatch department, which is another thing. All the small trucks, many of our competitors have the small trucks, but they don't have the large transport trucks and dispatch department like we do. So we can control more, and control sometimes a bad word, but sometimes a good word. With this, we control our destiny and our customers' fuel supply because we go to the pipeline with our transports. We bring the fuel back to customers
Mm.
or to ourselves, our 30,000 gallon tanks that we have all over strategically placed around the state, to be able to get the small trucks to go to refill, to take it to your homes. And so we can, with our tremendous dispatch department, they're awesome. We can take that call, get fuel to wherever we need to have it, and then we don't have to be reliant upon a contractor to bring fuel to us or to our customers.
That's so cool.
We do it ourselves.
You know, the amount of times I hear my partner complaining about contractors doing things wrong.
Oh, yeah.
It's ridiculous. It's crazy. But that's incredible. I'm glad that we have you guys not only as a resource for our chamber, but our community. It's so cool. Well, I'm gonna cut us off because I feel like we could talk for hours. And
It's going great.
Cool. Well, before we sign off, Bill, if people want to get in touch with you, what's the best way to do so?
What's the best way? I'm not going to put my cell phone out on the whole world.
Okay.
But if you call Foster Fuels and you tell them you need to talk to Bill Moss, they're going to get me to you.
Okay, good.
You know, and I'd be glad to do that and move you to wherever you need to go, whatever department. I work so hand in hand with our oil and fuel polishing and all the other departments. I'd be glad to just get you to that right department, or it may be me. If you're a commercial propane customer, it's going to be me you'll be talking to, and I'll help you with those needs and get you with my right hand or my left hand or whatever we need to do to make things happen for you.
Well, Micah, I would put you on the spot, but you're a behind the computer guy, and I'm not gonna put you out there when you got Bill here to throw him out in front of people for you.
No, yeah, of course. I would say if you need a phone number, call 800-344-6457.
Perfect.
Or visit fosterfuels.com.
Perfect. Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me this morning.
Thank
you.
you.
Been a lot of fun.
Thanks for having us.
Of course. Well, if you want to learn more about the Chamber, you can call us at 540-586-9401, or you can visit our website, bedfordareachamber.com, for information about our mission and the perks of becoming a member. But also on our website is a full directory of our membership, which is helpful for finding all sorts of great things in the region, including Foster Fuels. But that's all for today. Thanks so much for listening, and keep an ear out for the next Chamber Vibes podcast.